There has been a new name dropped into the Canadian men's national team managerial shortlist, and it comes from a Tier 1 outlet reporter and journalist in Germany and the Bundesliga in Florian Plettenberg. And Florian Plettenberg has now dropped a huge name around the Canadian national team, and it is a German manager in Stefan Kuntz. And Stefan Kuntz, for me, is a very interesting link and a very interesting manager who could potentially take over the Canadian national team job. And for me, I very much like this and I'm very interested by it. I'm not saying he's my number one yet, but I think this is a very interesting link to have Stefan Kuntz linked to the Canadian national team job. As Stefan Kuntz has a lot of international managerial experience. Most recently, yes, he was sacked by the Turkish national team, but he did help them along their journey in Euro qualifying to help the Turkish national side to top their Euro qualifying group. Yes, he was sacked before that end of that cycle, but he did finish that journey on 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Very impressive still from a Euro qualifying group, especially with a interesting Turkish side. But Stefan Kuntz also has some other managerial experience at the international level, albeit the U20 level with the German national side, but he has most recently won 2 honors with the German U21 setup in the likes of the 16-17 Euros with the German U21 setup and the 2021 Euros. So that is absolutely huge. Yes, it was a stacked, massive German national team at the U20 level, the extremely good side, but just getting them over the line to win. Yes, you can say he had a brilliant squad. He had arguably the best squad in the tournament. You can say that for a lot of sides. You can look at the English national side. You can look at some other teams. They don't win every single tournament. But when you get that huge stack side, you get them blended well together, especially at the national team, and get them all with the chemistry, get them playing together, get them tactically set up. That is a huge achievement. I don't care if you have the biggest and the best players. Getting all those egos, albeit at a young age, is a huge achievement. So winning 2 Euros with the U21 setup in Germany is very exciting. With Florian Plettenberg, we're going to get into his tweet now, but Florian Plettenberg did tweet this morning that Stefan Kuntz is a candidate to become the new national coach of Canada. First concrete talks have taken place, which I find extremely interesting that he did point that out in this tweet, because we've heard Canada have concrete talks with a lot of managers. Just a few weeks recently, Kristian Jack went on One Soccer talking about how there was 4 candidates and there was some international candidates and one former recently international manager who did manage at the international level. And I think he might have been talking about Stefan Kuntz, because he did point out there was a former international manager who Canada were in conversations with, but KJ never dropped that name. So I very much now am inclined to think that manager and that man he was talking about was Stefan Kuntz, especially the fact that they have had concrete talks that have taken place with Stefan Kuntz in the Canadian national team, and that is exactly what KJ was saying just a week or 2 ago. So this is very interesting that Florian Plettenberg added that in to his exclusive tweet, because he also went on to say Bayern have also considered him in the last few weeks. However, nothing concrete has emerged, which I'm not really surprised for Bayern Munich, because right now Bayern Munich are solely focused on my club's manager in Erik ten Hag, as it's come out this morning that they have concrete interest in the Dutch manager. So I really don't think we have to worry about Bayern Munich hinting towards Stefan Kuntz, because anyone who manages the German U21 setup who comes from the German national team are always going to be linked to Bayern Munich. But the fact that Florian Plettenberg said Bayern were interested in him but never had concrete interest is very interesting. But he also finishes off his tweet as saying the former national coach of Turkey is very open to join Canada, but Azerbaijan are also interested in him. And let's be honest, if Canada falls out and doesn't get a top-level international manager because he joins Azerbaijan, there's something extremely wrong at the top level, and something that this manager sees within the structure and the setup and the level of Canada soccer to completely take a 180 and go join Azerbaijan when he's open to joining Canada, because there's a complete disparity there in the 2 national teams. Because if he joins Azerbaijan and doesn't go to Canada, even Kevin Blue must be saying, okay, we want to go a different direction, or Stefan Kuntz has found something extremely wrong with this program. But I love the fact that Florian Plattenberg goes out and points out that he has concrete talks have taken place, but also the fact that he finished off the tweet by saying he is open to join Canada, very open to join Canada. That's very interesting because we haven't heard many managers like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in my opinion, that I've really seen, or Paul Clement, or Aitor Karenka come out in a tier 1 journalist or reporter saying that this certain manager is very open to join Canada. This, for me, is the first real thing I can really say that I've seen that a top manager in international football, a very interesting manager. I know that's going to split the division within the Canadian fan base, within the Turkish fan base, but he seems like a very likable manager and a very interesting manager. That he's very open to join Canada. One of the few managers so far that we can really say that has come out with a very open interest. Yes, Stefan Kuntz isn't saying that himself, but when you get a tier 1 journalist like Florian Plettenberg, it's very interesting because he has broken news for clubs and for transfers, and he's always got his finger on the pulse and is very rarely wrong. He's just like Fabrizio Romano. For more of you fans out there, he is the top journalist in Germany, and he often gets things spot on, and he doesn't tweet things out unless he is concrete and certain about it 100%. So I absolutely love what Florian Plattenberg is saying here about Stefan Kuntz. I know it's going to very much divide the Canadian fan base because some fans are looking at it as he's only managed at the U20 level and does brilliant things with a stacked Germany side, but you can also criticize other managers failing with England, failing with the German national team when they've had a brilliant side, failing with Spain, failing with Portugal. There's huge managers out there and huge stacked sides that you can criticize. Why haven't Portugal won the Euros more often? Why haven't they won the World Cup? Why haven't England won things? Why haven't other national teams been winning things with stacked sides? It's just how it goes in football. That's the beautiful game. You can't criticize a manager for not winning with a certain stacked side sometimes because it's just how players gel together at the national team. It's sometimes down to the manager. It's sometimes down to the tactics. It's sometimes down to the chemistry. And sometimes down to the formation. So the fact that he still got them to win a trophy, for me, I don't care how stacked your team is. I don't care how good the players you have at your ability that you can choose from or your player pool. The fact that you're able to get that group of players over the line, gelled together in the formation, thinking the same wavelength and working together and bypassing all those egos. Because let's be honest, there was some massive names in that German U21 level and that setup that he won with twice, and they all probably thought they were the dog's bollocks. So the fact that he got them to win the title twice in the 16-17 and the 2021 cycle is huge. I don't care how stacked your team is, and that's a huge congrats. No matter what you're winning, I don't care. It's huge just to get over the line and win trophies. That's Canada's biggest need right now. Finals, tournaments, winning trophies, whether it's a Gold Cup, whether it's a Copa America, let's shoot for the stars. As long as we're winning a trophy, that's all that matters. As long as we're competing at the highest level, that's all that matters. And Stefan Kuntz, albeit at the U21 level, has done it. And he did very well with Turkey. Yes, scraped a couple of results, but this is still a very interesting manager with a very good track record in international football, in my opinion. I think it's better than Greg Vanney. I think it's better than Bob Bradley. Competing with Jesse Marsh, but I think Jesse Marsh still might be within a shout. And for me, you might want to hear who my number one is, and it's still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We're going to dive into that in a different video, but I absolutely love what Florian Plattenberg said here. There's been contract talks, concrete talks. He's been very open to join Canada, and the fact it's coming from a tier 1 journalist around Stefan Kuntz is very interesting. So let me know your guys' opinions down below in the comments around the German 61-year-old manager in Stefan Kuntz, who most recently managed the Turkish national side and won 2 Euros with the German U21 setup. Make sure to drop a like. It really helps me out on the channel. And hit that sub button, guys, because we're getting so close to 300 subscribers. And drop a comment, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.